Welcome back. In this video, let us discuss about transforming product breakdown structure into a work breakdown structure. Transforming product breakdown structure into a work breakdown structure. Now, the first step, or rather as a recap, I will take you through the steps involved in defining the complete scope of the project. The first step was collecting detailed requirements, then analyzing the requirements, and after that, we arrive at a product breakdown structure. So it is just the components that gets into the final product: rails, saddles, seat post clamp, cassette, dropouts, derailleur hanger, rear derailleur, jockey wheel. So this is just a breakup of the components that gets into the product. We call it as the product breakdown structure. So it doesn't show any activities. It doesn't show the effort required. It doesn't show the durations. It is just a breakup of the components that when aggregated becomes the final product. Now let us see how do we convert this into a work breakdown structure. Now, the moment we get a product breakdown structure or a PBS, that is the time when we should, that is a time to think about what all activities that need to be performed to build those components. Now, we have to definitely think about the engineering aspects, the engineering required to build those components. Then we need to think about the actual construction, engineering designs, and then the real construction of those components. Then we should look at the risk management aspects of it. What all things can go wrong and what all things can be really exploited further. So we need to think through risk management aspects. We have to think about the activities that need to be performed to procure the material, and sometimes we have long lead items. Long lead items are those items which takes a long time to procure. So those activities need to be planned. Sometimes we have to prepare a request for information, request for proposals, request for quotations, then then evaluation of the proposals, then finalizing the contract, then implementing the contract, really getting the material on time. So a lot of activities happens. Then communication. While in order to really build those components and integrate them, a lot of communication will happen. That is interdisciplinary communication, and sometimes communication that goes outside the organization as well. Then we need to have excellent monitoring and control systems in place, trainings for that. If there are no systems, then we need to have frequent meetings, measurements, and all those things. Then what about HR? We need to recruit the people, train them. That is a lot of activities pertaining to HR also must be factored into the work breakdown structure. Then quality. It goes tightly, integrated with the construction and engineering. So what all quality activities we need to perform, what all tests we need to perform, and how are we going to manage those defects, and what is the effort required in preparing for the test, effort required in performing the test, and the effort required to fix those defects unearthed by the test, and the trainings required, and audits required. So both preventive actions as well as corrective actions. Then the safety aspects has to be factored into the WBS. Then funding, the effort one has to spend to ensure that proper funding happens on time. So, and for cash flow analysis and all those things, a lot of effort need to be spent on that. So that should reflect in the WBS. Then stakeholder management, basically stakeholder identification, prioritization, monitoring and controlling the stakeholder engagement, and the steps we have to take to motivate them from the start of the project till the end of the project. A lot of activities, and it costs money. So those things also must be factored into the WBS. Human resource we already discussed. So there can be more activities than this, but then these are the things which I could really think of that must be factored into the work breakdown structure. So we start with the product breakdown structure, and we superimpose the product breakdown structure with project management activities and additional activities like engineering, construction, risk, procurement, communication, monitoring and control, HR, quality, safety, funding, stakeholder management, and human resource management activities. We cannot afford to miss out something here, because the moment something is missed out in the WBS, that is not going to be there in the final schedule, and we may miss out a lot of vital activities. So a lot of care must be taken for the proper coverage of the WBS. We should ensure that all the required activities are factored into the WBS. Thus, we arrive at a WBS from the product breakdown structure. A good input for these things can be the quality management system and the engineering manuals, procedures, and guidelines, which are already defined by the organization, because we need not reinvent these things every time. We have to ensure that all the activities as prescribed by the procedures and policies and guidelines within the organization are factored into the work breakdown structure. This sample WBS from that cycle case, cost estimates are done at a work package level. The lowest level in a WBS is the work package. So in this case, this frame set is a work package, crank set is a work package, wheels are work packages, braking system is a work package, shifting system is a work package, and integration of all these components into one and testing them, that is also a work package. And 100% rule suggests that all the work packages put together should cover the entire scope of the project, or the entire work that need to be performed to build the project. And we discussed in the earlier lessons about 880 rule. That is, work packages must be between 8 hours and 80 hours chunks of work. So for smaller projects, the affinity of the work packages will be towards that 8 hours. And for large projects, the affinity of the work packages will be towards 80 hours. Then once the work packages are finalized and approved, it is time to decompose them further into activities. So activity come below the work packages. Now, once we know the work packages, that is the time when we do a top-down estimate. Means we estimate at the work package level, or when we create a very high level budgets, we estimate at a high level of WBS. Maybe we estimate at L1, L2, L3 kind of thing. And once we have more details, we estimate this as well. But once we arrive at the work packages, then we need to estimate only at the work package level. We call it as a top-down estimation. This is because now at the beginning of the project, nobody is going to provide money to do the WBS at the proposal stage. So most of the proposing stage, we stop at a work package level. We start at the project level, maybe a very ballpark kind of estimate. Then if somebody is asking for a budgetary estimate, we do at a level 1 kind of thing. Then if somebody is looking for more accuracy, then we do at level 2. But a definitive estimate is possible only when we decompose it into activity levels and stuff like that. But since it is going to be a lot of effort, those things happen only after getting the project and only while doing the detailed planning of the project. So this is top-down estimation. And once the WBS is frozen, next step is we break the work packages, the lowest level, into activities. The work packages gets decomposed into activities. Now, this is a good opportunity to validate the estimate because now we have the luxury of doing the estimate at a task level, add it up and compare with the estimate we arrived while doing the top-down estimate. So already work packages have a cost estimate done. Now, after decomposing the work packages into activities, we can estimate at the activity level, then roll it up towards the work package level estimates. If both are tallying, then everything is fine. But if bottom-up estimates are not tallying with the top-down estimate, then most probably the top-down estimates are wrong, because always the bottom-up will be more accurate because we are estimating at the most granular level, that is at the activity level. So top-down and bottom-up estimates, this is very important. And once we have the at this stage, this is the time when we decompose the work packages into activities, and then, as discussed earlier, we estimate at activity level and then roll up to the work package level. The various types of estimation techniques we use are analogous estimation, parametric estimation, and the three-point estimation. When we say analogous estimation, we might have done a similar activity in one of our earlier projects. Then we can always compare with that and then take it. We call it as an analogous estimation. Always you compare and take from a past activity. Then parametric estimation. Let us say we have done a similar activity multiple times in the past. then we can always take an average of it. That is parametric estimation. Now, 3-point estimation, for every activity, we come out with an optimistic estimate, pessimistic estimate, and most likely estimate. Optimistic can be 3, pessimistic can be 6, and the most likely can be 4. Then we carry to the formula like optimistic plus 4 into most likely plus pessimistic by 6. In this case, it will be 3 plus 4 times most likely, that is 16, that is 19. 19 plus 6, 25 by 6. So it will be around 4 point something. So even to do this 3-point estimate, we may do, in order to get the optimistic, pessimistic, and the most likely, we may rely on analogous and parametric estimates. Once all the estimates are done, then we can get aggregation of it. And it will be a good idea to compare these ratios with the industry data or other benchmark studies available so that we will know we can validate our estimates. Yeah, this is for construction project. Maybe framing and trusses, 15.6%. Sheathing, that is 1.7%. Windows, 2.8%. So if we can compare this with the historical data, we can easily identify the outliers or the problematic areas, and we can take corrective actions to optimize it further. For that, we rely on either historical data or industry benchmarks available. Now it is time to arrive at the budgets. So far we were discussing only about the cost. Now, to the cost estimate, we add reserves or buffers. 2 types of reserves. We have contingency reserve and management reserve. What is a contingency reserve? In projects, things can go wrong. Rework can happen, or our initial estimates can be wrong, or productivity may not be up to the mark. In such cases, we use the contingency reserve. And it is at the discretion of the project managers. Project managers can decide when to use the contingency reserve. Then we have management reserve. Now let us say a scope change happens, a scope addition happens. Then management can release funds from the management reserve. Contingency reserve, project manager have the discretion, whereas management reserves, only the senior management can decide to allocate it against the project. So we have the cost estimate. To that, we add the reserves, that is contingency reserves and management reserves, and we arrive at the budget. The next step. So at this stage, we have the WBS, we have the work packages, we have the cost estimate at the work package level. We have decomposed the work packages into activities, and we have estimated the cost of activities also. And on top of it, we added contingency reserves and management reserves, and we arrived at the budget. The next step is activity sequencing. So based on the dependencies of the activities, we sequence them and we arrive at a activity sequence diagram, which is a very important step prior to arriving at the schedule of the project. Because if you take a construction project, multiple disciplines are happening or working on it. We have air conditioning, HVAC teams. We have engineering, procurement, and construction teams. There can be dependencies among them. So lot of care must be taken while sequencing those activities, and so that we can avoid dependencies and clashes and stuff like that. So activity sequencing is a very important step before arriving at the schedule. Otherwise, we will get schedules which are not implementable. So we'll talk more about activity sequencing and scheduling in another, maybe in the next video. So thank you very much for watching this video. And if you have any questions or clarifications required about this, about the contents of this video, please post it as a comment to this video. I will answer them. Thank you.